Hi guys, I was asked by somebody would I be able to carry on with the program and be able to do a login. So we'll quickly run through how I would do a login using a web service. So if we go back to our project car services, and if we come in and look at our source packages, we have two entities. And if we go into user, we have this code. But first, as before, I have my MySQL running on Apache using XAMPP, and in my table web services or web service I have a user, and the user has a username and password. So this is what we're going to check to see does what we enter in match any of these. So the first thing we want to do is come to our user, and what I use is a named query. So we want to create the query that we're going to use so that we can do the login. So we want to call it a named query. Name is equal to, and this is going to be the name of the query that we're going to use. It's going to be user dot, and we'll call ours login. The query that we're actually going to use. So ours is going to be select you from user. And password. So this is a select from user where username is equal to the username we're going to pass in and password is equal to password. So once you have this done, this is the query that we're going to use that's associated with the table in the database user. The second thing you're going to do is to come into your web service and your abstract. You want to come into this abstract facade and you want to create a method in here, and ours is going to be public T. I'm not going to explain in this video what T is. That'll be in a later video if anyone wants to understand, but this is just to get the login working. We'll call our method login, and we're going to take in two parameters, a username and a password, and we're going to return we want to get the entity manager, and we're going to want to create a named query, and the name of our query is what we created inside in our entity user. So we take this user.login and place it in here. Then we're going to have to set the parameters that we defined in here, this user name and this password. So we go, first one we're going to set parameter, and the first one is going to be username, and we're going to pass in our string u, which is short for username, dot set another parameter. This one is going to be our password. I'm going to pass in p. Because we don't want we know it's going to return one result. So we're going to get a single result because it should only match one user in the database. So we have a get entity manager. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail with this. I'm just showing you how you just get a login, a quick one set up. And we're going to create our named query that we have created in here in the user. We're setting the parameters, and that's all you need for there. So the last thing you got to do is you go to your user state rest, and we're going to create a method in here as well, so that we can use on the URL. So this is going to be a get, and we're going to set the path. I'm going to call it login slash, and it's going to take in two parameters. I'm going to call this one username and password. You use your curly braces for this. We want to say what we want to produce, what we want to return. What this means is what you want to return to whatever's consumed in your web service. So we want to return, say in this case, we want to return a JSON array or a JSON data. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to create our method public, and we're going to return a user. We're going to also call it login. And in here we're going to get the data that's passed in on the URL. So we're going to go at path parameter username string, we'll call it u, and our second input this one called password. We'll take it in as a string. You might want to do this as an integer or anything else, but for this demonstration we're just going to use a string. Then we want to return super. Well, the reason we're using super is because it extends the class where we put it in the abstract. Dot login, and we're taking in two parameters, username and password, and that's it. So you want to build that. When you have this done, you want to test the program again. So you come down, you right click, test RESTful web service, browse, and we have one called testing. As I said before, if you get this error, you can easily just come down in to testing your web pages and go into test REST beans and right click and run. And if we look over in here, login, and if we say, we look at our database, we'll find the user. We got Joe123. So we try Joe123 test, and it returns the data. Username ID is 1. Username ID is 1. Now there's a lot more that you could do with this, handling errors, or if there's no one in the database for that, or password and username is wrong. You can handle that on your where you're consuming it if you want. It's easy enough that if you type in the wrong one and you send, you get an error from the server. So if you can handle this any way you want. But this is just a quick way how to get the login working for a person that was looking for it. So I hope this is useful. If you've only seen this video, please check out the previous video before this. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you find this useful, please let me know, and I'll produce some more or any other type of videos. Thank you for watching.